when I dive into a deeper field of energy, when I have no eyes to see what lies ahead of me, I will be one with a vibration where boundless joy breeds wild elation. When I dive into a deeper field of energy, when I have exhausted human physicality, I will embrace my resurrection as I move.
Morning. How is everyone this morning? So, it's a beautiful day out there. My name is George Melton, and I'm your host for this morning's Sunday celebration service, coming to you from our sanctuary here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Palm Springs, California, on Palm Sunday. So lots of palms, it's Palm Sunday. What better place to be than right here where you are? We're also streaming our service live on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel, so welcome to you as well. So we like to start the service getting the energy moving, both in our bodies and raising the vibration in the room, and we do that with a congregational song. Now, if you can sing along with this. If you can dance along with it. If you can do two things at once, you can do both. So let's all stand. Jeff's going to join me here on the platform. We're going to do Gary Lynn Floyd's One Big Family. You all know it, so have a good time. Here we go.
Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family, hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 yeah. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody, get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family, hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, 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 yeah. Hey, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I feel elevated already. So thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everyone. So on behalf of our senior minister, Reverend Eunice Chalfont, and your leadership council, I want to welcome all of you who have come out to be with us this morning here in person, and all of you who are joining us online, both here in the Coachella Valley, and I know some of you are out there from around the country, so welcome to you both. Now, if you are here for the first time physically with us this morning, if you'll raise your hand, anyone here for the first time? There's the lady right here. Okay. This is just a little welcome packet that we have to let you know who we are as a community and what we do here. So welcome. No matter where you are on your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. So we like to keep the service going by reciting our mission and vision statement. The words will be on the screen behind me. Let's all do this together. At CSPS, we envision a world where oneness is cultivated, unity is lived, and reverence for all life is practiced, empowering us to thrive individually and collectively. And we do that here at the Center through the teachings of science of mind and spirit and the practice of unconditional love. I have just a few announcements for you this morning. I'm going to try to go through those as quickly as I can. So, one of our most popular social events of the year, Divine Dinings and Destinations, is happening now. So here to talk about it is Debbie Blair. Welcome, Debbie.
Thank you. Okay, so you've heard about Divine Dinings. This is where you can meet people, reconnect with friends you haven't talked to in a while, and basically it gives you an opportunity to get to know your community outside of church. It's awesome. And so what it is that we are going to be having events or parties from like April 19th. We've already got a couple for the first weekend. So April 19th all the way through August. And what we're looking for right now are people to volunteer to be hosts of those events. So you can host together with another person, or you can host individually. You can have the event at your own home. You can have it here at church. You can have it someplace outside of your home. And so what we're going to do is we're going to extend the deadline for handing in the host event forms till next Sunday. This is what they look like. And they're at the back table. And we're going to be standing there, answering any questions you may have. But it's just really a fun thing. The church I went to before did it every year, and everyone just looked forward to it. It's like, so are you ready to party for till fall? And Barry has an announcement about his event.
Hello. Yay. Okay, I worked a catering event for another caterer last night, so I brought some leftovers as a pineapple upside down cake in there for everybody. Okay, I'm going to be doing 2 dinners this spring and summer. I don't know what ethnic. I don't know if I'm going to do a French dinner, an Italian dinner, a Moroccan dinner again, a Turkey. Foods from Turkey. So I want to talk to a bunch of people, see what you want, and then we'll put something together. Now, Patty Cake's over here, and I'm going to help Patty. We're going to do an educational food thing, and Patty's going to do a Haitian dinner. So we're going to do Caribbean food, and if you came to the newlywed game here, you know that her brain does not work correctly. So, and we're going to have a very, very hysterical time and delicious food along with it. So we're thinking sometime mid-May. Okay, so educational, fun, and food. Okay, so anybody, if you want to do a dinner and you want help, ask me. I'll be happy to help you with it as to where to get ingredients, and if I have the time, I'll be happy to come over and help cook with you. Okay.
How can you refuse that? Okay, so today, come back to the back table and get one of these forms to host an event, and then bring them back on Easter Sunday. So we're extending that to turn in till next week. Thanks.
So I don't know many senders who have their own personal chef. So how fortunate are we? We are really lucky. Okay, visiting will happen tomorrow, Monday, March 24th, in the chapel at 6 p.m. Join Reverend Eunice as we vision for ourselves and for the center. Visioning is a spiritual practice of guided questioning and quiet listening. So, we often ask the question and we don't stick around to listen for the answer. This is an opportunity to create some stillness to listen to the answer. It's available on Zoom as well as in person here at the center. That's tomorrow at 6 p.m. Phoenix Rising, that's our Good Friday service. Is happening this Friday. Can you believe Easter is going to be next Sunday? So Good Friday will be held here at 7 p.m. on Friday, March 29th. This is a unique and dramatic transformational service to assist us in releasing old self-limiting beliefs. The event starts with a community primal drumming. So if you're a drummer, bring your drum and come a few minutes early, like 6:45, so that you can help welcome people into the sanctuary with just a primal heartbeat drumming. Reverend Eunice is also seeking 3 volunteers who will come on Thursday at 3 o'clock and help her set up for the event. So if you're available for that, please let her know or let Lee in the office know so she can relay that information on. Okay, the Rainbow Alliance strikes again. The Gay Men's Chorus will be gracing us once again on Wednesday, April 3rd at 7 p.m. with a concert titled Defying Gravity. This is an intimate preview of their spring concert, so spaces are limited. Tickets are $35, which includes refreshments, and you can buy your tickets today in the lobby after service, so don't forget to pick up your tickets for that. And finally, you'll want to join us at noon today, after you've had your prayer, some coffee in the cafe, bought your book in the bookstore, then join Laurel Largent. She is the guest featured speaker on the Wounds to Wings program. This afternoon, Laurel will discuss her challenges and growth in having been born without the gift of sight. Please join us for this very inspiring talk with Laurel. Laurel, raise your hand so everyone can see who you are. And if you've ever had the opportunity to be in a class with Laurel or to sit down and have a conversation with her, you know that Laurel is a deep, deep thinker and a very grounded person in her spiritual life, so this is going to be a very interesting afternoon. For more details and reminders for all of these activities and more, please visit the information table in the back, or you can go to our Facebook page or to our website, cslps.org. Okay, so that wasn't too bad. I try to edit those announcements down, but. Oh, that's right. Oh, I thought that's part of what you were talking about, but then you didn't mention it. Yes. And that will be on the Facebook page. I'm sort of waiting for a visual so that I can put up with that too. Yes, so Barry will be doing, he does this every year. He presents a Seder dinner. So he'll be doing that on the 24th of April. That's a limited seating, right? So that'll be something that you'll need to sign up for as soon as you know that you want to go. So in just a few minutes, Reverend Terry will be up here on the platform to do today's reading and invocation. Practitioner in training, Thea Brigham, is holding high watch during today's service. Yes. And Reverend Mark Acamando will be delivering the message today. So in anticipation of all those good things, let's take a moment to shift the energy. If it feels right, uncross your legs and arms with your feet on the floor. And just breathe. Breathing in the love that is in, around, and through us, no matter the situation, the circumstance, the appearance. And let that love marinate in every cell of your body before you breathe it out and send it all around the world this morning. And we know those places are many that need the love. The people in Moscow who are mourning the loss of 130 people. The people of Haiti who are being torn apart by violence. The people of Gaza. And all of those places in the world where there is pain, where there is suffering, where there is a need for love. And so just keep breathing in your own natural rhythm and allow the music to take you just a little deeper. In the quiet center of my soul, with all my fears released, all the worries and heartache and longing cease, and there is only this loving and gentle peace. In the quiet center of my soul, my heart is open again, and the wrongs are forgiven, and the broken mends, and my cup runneth over without end. Amen. And my cup runneth over without end.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Palm Sunday for all of you. It's my honor once again to anchor this Sunday's practitioner moment, and also to remind you that all of the ministers and practitioners will be available for one-on-one individual prayer immediately following the service over in the chapel area over there. And of course, for the folks online, you can always submit your requests online, and they will be held in strict confidence. So we have one reading for this morning, and it's taken from the Science of Mind textbook by Dr. Ernest Holmes, and it's on page 432. Matthew 6:22 says, "Let thine eye be single." If our eye is single, we shall be filled with light. That is, when we perceive the unity of good, we shall perceive it in its entirety, an undivided whole. But if our eye be filled with evil, we shall remain in darkness. We must cleave to the good and trust absolutely in the law of God to bring about any desired end. Spirit will mold our purposes when we allow it to do so. As we learn to depend more and more upon the perfect law, we shall find that the outward things which are necessary to our good will be provided. We shall be cared for as the lilies of the field, which live directly upon the divine bounty. And yet they toil not, neither do they spin. I just invite you to take those words in and contemplate them in the center of your being for a few moments. So let's just turn within and anchor the presence of God, which is indeed everywhere present. It is divine mind, it is divine influx, it is the energy and activity of unconditional love. Whatever we call it, 1,000 names, but one truth. And I know that I am one with that one. I am inseparably one with that one, that God is living in me, as me, through me, showing up as every event and circumstance and condition of my life, and all is well. And as I know this truth for myself, I know this truth for each and every person within the sound of my voice, and I know this truth for this service, that they are, and it is, perfect expressions of that divine mind, of that energy and activity of unconditional love, the only power that is. And therefore, I can call their lives, I can call this service good, I can call it holy, I can call it complete, I can call it harmony and peace, grace and abundance and joy. And I know that it is all flowing and happening in divine perfect order. I know that Reverend Mark is a clear and perfect channel for that divine inspiration and revelation as he brings forth the word today, that the music supports that the offering supports that each and every person, the consciousness that they bring to this place supports that with divine receptivity, with divine openness and peace. So I'm grateful for this realization this morning, grateful for each and every person here, grateful for the givingness of life to all, and I'm grateful for life itself. So in great gratitude, I release my word now into that perfect law of life, which is always receiving the impress of our thoughts and acting upon them. I let it be so, I get out of the way, and so it is. Amen.
Good morning, y'all. Y'all. Howdy. Today is Palm Sunday, being traditionally the day where it's celebrated that Yeshua came into Jerusalem and was very, very welcomed. So I thought a good thing to do today would be to share the prayer that he left us in Aramaic. We can all chant it together. This is a call and response. We've done it before, but it's been a while. And the word that I'll be calling and asking for a response from is abun, which is the very first word of the prayer, abun. Often translated as our Father. It actually is a whole lot more than that. Aramaic lends itself to all sorts of translations in every word, but abun is actually way past any kind of gendered definition. It's really just another one of those 1,000 names that Terry was talking about, but for the divine. But is the truth. The structure of the word is the truth that is illumined in our heart. Bwa is that truth being born in our body. U is the truth being carried by our breath to every corner of our body and beyond. And the in sound, is actually that truth manifesting in form. So there's quite a bit to it. So please join me. Here we go.
Abunde bashmaya net kadeshma tete malkuta nechwe sibiana aikana de bashmaya
O ever-birthing source eternal, boundless flow of love alive in me and in all things moving and changing. In the sacred refuge of my heart, you sing. Te te malkutach, come forth, knowingness and vision, and see, every corner of my being is filled with light. O light and song and flow of love, be known now in all things, to all things. Habla, lachma, desun kana, yamana, washbokla, chave, wachtahe, I Kanada Knamspoka Lechayabe Velatala Lanesiuna Elapasa Min Visha. Bread for body, bread for soul, by love I am sustained. I forgive and am forgiven. All is untangled, released, returned into love. Every forgetting a call to remember, and I remember always my source, myself, my kinship with all life, and am in tune with truth. Metu de la que mancuta. Wahala watesh buchtalala Amin Amen. The creative force moves through us, as us. The song of the beloved calls our hearts from gathering to gathering, age to age, world to world. Amen.
Wow. Thank you, Jeff. That was beautiful. I don't know about you, but I got these chills when you started singing those ancient words. It just came right up my spine. Yeah? Yeah, so he was tapping into what we're talking about today. This morning. Oh, by the way, today is what? It's Palm Sunday. It's 3/24/24, which comes to, it was a portal to the number 6, right? Yes. You familiar with that? Now, I just happened to look this up randomly. I'm not really into numerology, but I have 3/24/24 sounded kind of interesting, so I thought, well, I'll look that up. So I got this thing called Chat GPT. You heard of this yet? And there it was. They can pop right there. So 6 is the number for harmony, unity, and responsibility. And this is auspicious of the spring equinox. The full moon. Did you see the full moon? Is it the full moon last night? Wasn't it? Yeah. And eclipse. What? There's an eclipse. Oh my God! See, this is we're in it. We're in the zone, right? Yeah. So glad and honored to be with you all this morning to kind of open the portal a little bit more, right? That's what we're here to do. That's what we get. That's why we come here, isn't it? Yeah. To tap into that. Let thine eye be single. Let thine eye be single. The practice of staying in attunement, in alignment with what it is we really want at the core and center of our being, of our heart, for not only for ourselves but for the world. What is that? Peace, yeah, peace and love. It's not that complicated, is it? It's not that mysterious, is it? It really isn't. Yeah, universe is calling. The universe is always, I love that. You know the word universe, by the way? The word universe, you probably know this already. If you break that word up, it means universe, one song. You know that? You knew that, right? Yeah, universe, one song. And we tap into the one song, the universe, by giving ourselves permission to stop. Now, today's stopping to align with that oneness. Today, my talk was the triumphant reentry. I thought that was so profound. The triumphant reentry, you know. And then Una said, well, don't forget our theme for the month, you know. And our theme for the month is about faith. And she just sent me a little message saying that, you know, it was about taking the leap, faith and trust. So now I have 2 talks to give you in the next 20 minutes, okay? So I thought I'd start with the faith thing and the trust and faith because, you know, it's a practice. It's something we build. You know, we build faith. We build trust. It's not something I don't think it's just a given. I think it's something that we can practice. And as we create that space to open up to that divine wisdom and then learn how to trust it, which is easier said than done. I don't know if you noticed this, right? Have you noticed that? So thine eye be single. So in our teaching, the science of mind, which is so wonderful about our teaching, is it teaches us laws and principles and how we can tap into and use this creative process in a way that works for us individually, but ultimately for the world. So this science, our teaching is so powerful and so clear in the laws and principles. And when we understand these laws and principles, our life starts to grow in that direction. We can start to use these laws and principles for our life. There's a quote that I love there is nothing more powerful than a trained mind. It's one of the first things I heard when I walked into science of mind. There's nothing more powerful than a trained mind. So we're training our mind to stay in alignment with that oneness, with that truth, with the wisdom, right? So that's the practice. I love that. There's nothing more powerful than a trained mind. Well, that could be used a couple different ways, right? So a trained mind would be understanding the principles and how they work. But also a trained mind is, what are you training your mind on? What are you focusing your attention on? Let thine eye be single. Let thine eye be single. So what are we focusing on? You know. So I came up with a little formula. You want a formula for how this all works, the creative process and how it works? First thing is when you get something really challenging to do, you freak. Okay? And then you cry to your husband how you can't handle it and nothing's going to work. And then I spend 3 days trying to get it all together and oh my God, it's never going to come into order and I get all crazy. And then finally I surrender. This has been happening since I was young. So I call it my ancient wound. It's like, why can't I just be here first, right? But so I frustrate myself. But at the same time, I realize part of the creative process, and part of the creative process is sometimes, letting ourselves feel the uncertainty and feel the uncomfortability with uncertainty. We don't always know how things are going to work out, and it's scary. When I do it, when I'm, signed up to do a talk and invited to do a talk here, my first thing I do is freak. But I've learned that that's just part of my process. Now, I hope it doesn't have to be yours, but that's part of it. So one of the things I was thinking, one of the things I really love from one of my first teachers in the science of mind was from Reverend Dr. Don Burt. And he says, in giving spiritual affirmation or prayer treatment, the more completely the mind turns away from lack, limitations, circumstances, the more completely the thought stops trying to figure out the demonstration that person thinks needs to be made. The more completely we refrain from willpower, the less it tries to concentrate the power it has. Treatment has nothing to do with any effort which attempts on concentration of energy of God. The energy of God is already concentrated everywhere. So Don Burt's talking about how treatment can really be used, and as we get clear that we're not trying to force anything to happen. We're working with the divine circuits, the divine influx. We're working with it. We're not forcing anything. And actually, the surrendering part, which is that third part of my creative process, when I finally surrender and let go and allow the presence, it's amazing how the intuition kicks in. I was sitting there, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 everything starts in alignment. As soon as I let it go, I've been thinking about this for days, and finally I let it go, and the whole thing comes into alignment. So it really takes that alignment. So I want to give you a little formula. The formula is the actual formula, not my crazy formula, is to first to ask. to ask for guidance, to ask for clarity, to ask for healing. Now, in our Science of Mind teaching, we talk about asking. We say we're not asking in a way we're asking something outside of ourselves. In a way, to me, asking is opening up to that guidance. So when I ask, I'm amazed if I ask, listen, and then take action, that things start to grow in that direction. My life starts to grow in that direction. But first I have to ask, I've noticed. I'm a little stubborn, and I want to control everything, and I want to do my affirmations, say this is the way it is, my intentions, set my intentions, this is the way it's going to be, which is all good. That's a part of it, to be clear. You know, one of the things we talk about in our teachings, be clear. Make sure you bring clarity to what it is you want to create. And that's a good thing. But then I want to, the next thing I want to do is open up to the divine influx. There's a quote out of Science of Mind. He says, we should think of our spirit as being some part of the universal spirit, and our minds as open to the divine influx. As any specific knowledge must come from the center of all knowledge, it follows that whenever and wherever the mind of man is open to the divine influx, it will receive instruction directly from the center of all source, the source of all. Science, invention, art, literature, philosophy, and religion have one common center, from which, through experience, is drawn all knowledge. That divine influx. So tapping into that divine influx, that wisdom, that if we would just stop and ask for guidance, things open up, you know? When Jesus entered into Jerusalem in the triumphant reentry, he entered on a donkey. Did you hear this story? Yeah. I don't really know the story very well, but I heard some of it. But he entered into Jerusalem on a donkey versus a war horse. But he was entering into Jerusalem, which was considered metaphysically the land of peace. He was entering in humility. He was entering in trying to bring people together so they could recognize the oneness and the unity consciousness that he was holding and bringing into the city. And he was obviously honored with the palms. He laid the palms in front of him. That's why it became Palm Sunday. They laid the palms as he was walking into the city. So the triumphant re-entry is about stepping in with humility, openness, guidance, and then the recognition of our oneness. See, I remember when years ago when I finally asked, I was so frustrated. I didn't know what to do with my life. I didn't know what direction to go. And I remember one day driving in my van. I was in construction work, and driving in my van, and I knew my construction days were over because I had some injuries, and they weren't over completely, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that the rest of my life. And I remember, out of pure frustration, by the way, most of this formula I'm talking about comes out of pure frustration. It's like when things aren't going your way, you just do that affirmation out of pure frustration. That's a good way, because it's about the energy, it's about the feeling nature of it, right? The feeling, whether it comes from frustration or anger or fear, let that come through, let that channel through, and a lot of times it will come from love and a sense of oneness, but sometimes it comes from that frustration. So I'm frustrated, I'm driving down the street in my van, and I said, I need a mentor. I need somebody to guide me. I don't have guidance. I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know the direction. And my dad and I worked together in construction, and my dad was a great dad in many levels, but he didn't know how to tell me what to do with my life. Just go to work. That's what he would tell me. What are you getting so worked up? Just work. And I'd be like, okay, whatever. But he never, I didn't get I wanted the answer, And then one day, this is before I knew Science of Mind, actually. I remember driving down the street in that van, and I asked a power greater than Mark to show me, I needed a mentor. And when I finally stopped and I asked power greater than Mark, it seemed like everything started opening up, It was when I asked that I was invited to come to a little spiritual center, just like this in Chicago, to come to a Wednesday meditation. And I met my mentor there, Reverend Dr. Don Burt. And I started going to his classes, his Wednesday meditations and stuff like that. And I was doing this for 3 or 4 weeks, and I had no idea that I just met my mentor that I'd asked about 3 weeks ago. you know? So you don't know when it's going to come or where it's going to come from. And so Don Burt ended up being my first science of mind teacher. And he's the one who told me that there's nothing more powerful than a trained mind. He said, if you get into alignment with it, it's amazing how things open up for you. I was going to talk a little about Abraham Lincoln today. Abraham Lincoln was amazing. I just heard this documentary on National Public Radio, and how he was able to, in the middle of his time of fighting for the emancipation of slaves, that he actually had an ability to work with people on both sides. He never actually condemned people who didn't see things the way he was trying to emancipate the slaves, but the other side was still wanted to keep it. And what Abraham Lincoln did with his wisdom was he looked at people in a conscious way and honored where they were at in their consciousness. He didn't tell them they were wrong or they were bad, although he said that it was wrong, and he didn't like that, and he was going to change it because he was the president, right? So he was able to do that. But he said he actually, when he was working with these people, he didn't make anyone wrong, and he kept his eye single. His eye was single on making sure that he stayed on the path of emancipation, right? And he did that, and he was able to free the slaves. But it was because he had that capacity and ability to honor everyone's voice who was in the room, basically, to listen to them without condemning them, right? That he was able to lift the whole consciousness of the country up, so we were finally able to move beyond that. So it's pretty powerful, right? And so when you think about what's going on in our world, right? So first we want to practice getting into alignment with ourselves. We want to get into alignment with what is thine eye be single for you. What do you want to create in your life? So the consciousness that you want to create. I went to a wedding yesterday, and I was talking with this one lady. We were talking about the fourth density. Have you heard of the fourth density? Yeah, fourth density is the awakening that's happening right now on our earth. It's everywhere. It's already happening. It's been happening since Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes was teaching fourth density stuff. Fourth density basically is the consciousness that you are living from. We're like all living in little bubbles of our own consciousness, And it's, what are you cultivating? What is your consciousness? What are you cultivating today for your life? How do you see yourself? How do you see your life? How do you relate to what's going on in the world? I'm bringing some awareness to that, right? So that consciousness, we're bringing consciousness in this kind of like this fourth density is about recognizing our oneness and unity consciousness. And we're breaking through what is the opposite of that, the separation, right? Us against them. Anyone got that? See that going on at all? Yeah? A little bit? Yeah. We have a lot of that going on right now. A lot of us against them mentality going on. And so we were talking about this, and she says, it's just so disturbing. We were talking, it's just so disturbing what's going on in the world sometimes, isn't it? So what do we do with that? Well, we apply the formula. We ask a power greater than self, what is mine to do? We open up to listen with compassion, self-compassion, like Abraham Lincoln did. Listen with compassion and love, understanding that those people might be going through some stuff in their consciousness and their awareness that I can't change by talking or making them wrong. But if I can bring some compassion, understanding, then I could kind of see them for where they're coming from. I don't have to fight against them, right? Then if I could do that, then I could listen to the divine influx to guide me on what is mine to do. What is mine to do? You see? My dad's 84 years old. This is the first time in his life he's volunteering. First time in his life volunteering for the voters registration thing, He's like, I can't sit here on the couch anymore and listen to this stuff. I'm going to go out and volunteer. I'm like, yeah, go out and volunteer. Take some action. He was guided. He said he was crying, like for months and maybe years he's been crying about, this is crazy. And then one day he just said to me, I think I probably told him this a long time ago, but he finally heard it. And he said, I'm going to volunteer, because he asked, what is mine to do? So what is yours to do? Don't tell me. Figure, if you ask, you will be guided. And if you ask, you will be guided. Then what's the third step? Take action. What'd you say? Take action. right? But do it from a place of love and unity conscious, not us against them. And I was born in Chicago, an Italian guy from Chicago, you know? Sicilian, a Sicilian neighborhood, you know? And we got this us against them personality thing going on all the time there. You know, I grew up in the us against them personality, or energy, vibration. It was segregated Chicago, you know? And I grew up on these construction sites with my dad and my grandfather and the uncles and all these people. You know these guys. Anyone know these guys? Yeah. And there's, you know, if you were Irish, something was wrong. If you were Polish, something was wrong. If you were Ukrainian, if you were Mexican or black, we were completely racist. I didn't know this, you know, like I didn't think of it that way. I'm just a proud Italian. Us against them, us against them. You know, and that's the way I grew up. I grew up with that consciousness. And so for me, that's deeply entrenched in my psyche. Like I get online sometimes, I'm like, what the hell are these people saying? I can't believe it. What is wrong with those people? What the hell? I always joke around, pulling my hair out, you know? You get so frustrated by it. But I remember one time asking, out of pure frustration, I asked God, what is mine to do? And it was right after I was on the computer. Can't believe you said that. And I'm looking up on YouTube and Google and search to try and find the right perfect link that I'm going to prove my point to this person who doesn't know me. And doesn't want to hear what I have to say anyway, but I'm going to do it. So what am I doing? I'm feeding the angry wolf. I'm feeding what I don't want. I need to learn to train my mind to bring it back. Let thine eye be single. What do I really want? Me fighting against this people that I don't even know. I'm actually giving to that consciousness. I've gotten outside of my bubble, the consciousness that I want to create. See, when the bubbles start coming together, so if we all have one like-minded consciousness, the bubble gets bigger and bigger, doesn't it? Next thing you know, we have a whole community, and the consciousness is bigger. Well, if I'm doing it individually, don't forget that what you do individually has a powerful, powerful impact on what's happening on this planet and in our country. What are you doing individually? What are you feeding? So we have to catch ourselves. My husband catches me all the time. I love when he catches me. Mark, what are you doing in there? When he sees me going like this at the computer. You're supposed to be the peace guy, you know? Oh, you're right. Because that's what I do. I go off on these. It's deeply entrenched in my psyche. So I can say, though, it's gotten better. I can honestly say it's gotten better. It hasn't gone away completely. Someday, it seems like every day there's some new insanity, right? So there's, you know, I love this, and I think I share this every time I come up. Mitch knows. Every time I come here, I say the same thing. There's the story of the Native Americans, right? Yeah. You heard the story? There's Native American story of the, I'm sorry, I didn't really say that right. There's an ancient story of Native Americans that comes from Native American tradition. And it talks about this elder telling a story to some young people about these wolves. And these wolves are fighting in his heart. He has this reoccurring dream over and over again. These wolves are fighting. One wolf is angry and vengeful and arrogant and always wants to fight. The other one's kind and loving, compassionate and giving and recognizes unity consciousness. And he's telling this story to all these young people. And at one point, one of the young students interrupts him and says, well, which one's going to win the fight? And he steps back and the one that I feed. The one that I feed. So what am I feeding? Am I feeding the angry, vengeful wolf? Or am I feeding the kind, loving, compassionate wolf? What am I feeding? So I have to train my mind. I have to train my mind. I have to train my mind. I have to train my mind to thine eye be single and bring it back to the truth. This is where we discover and develop trust and faith with the science and the principles, and then the practice, right? I have to practice this. I have to practice. I don't know about you, but I got to practice this stuff. You know, I call it the gray wolf and the orange wolf. I don't want to keep feeding the angry wolf. You know, I want to feed the kind and loving, compassionate wolf. You see? So this is a practice, isn't it? Much easier said than done. So when we ask, I'm amazed in my life, and you probably know this stuff already, right? Have you done this where you ask and then the answer comes? This is how we develop the intuition, right? And then we can trust that intuition. Then we can take those leaps, you know? I remember when I first got sober, I was having so much struggle with trying to stay sober because drinking for me wasn't working anymore. I would always have this horrible thing happen every time I would drink. I'd wake up, I'd say I'm allergic to alcohol because what happens is I wake up, whenever I drink, I wake up like horribly sick the next morning, throwing up and all this horrible stuff, horrible headache, because I drank too much, right? So that kept happening for years, right? And I kept saying, this isn't working. And I remember I was doing visioning work with Reverend Mark Anthony Lord, and he would always ask me in their visioning work, he says, well, Mark, what do you need to let go of that might be stopping you from moving forward in your vision? And I knew every time he asked that, it was this drinking and using thing that I was doing. Because, I had justified it so well in this is the way I socialize, this is the way I have fun. I had many reasons why, but it was making me sick. It was chipping away at my life. So I got sober. I had a wonderful mentor or sponsor, they call it, and he said, if you ever feel like you want to drink or use, make sure you call me. Call me first before you go do that, because that was a pattern I had. I think of drinking and using as a pattern. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So I did, and so one day I was having this horrible trigger where I was really wanted to, and where I lived in Chicago, I lived on a third floor flat, and I could see the bar from my third floor that I used to party at on Sundays. And Sundays was always the worst. I was done with church. Oh, now I'm free. Now I can go do everything I need to do, right? Because I was in my ministerial internship when I got sober. I was in the middle of it. So I was like drinking on one side like a rock star, and then this time being all peaceful meditation. I could feel I was being pulled like that, So one of the reasons why I got sober was because I knew that wasn't working anymore. It just wasn't working, I stopped beating up on myself. It just wasn't working. And I remember one day I asked the power greater than Mark. And it was the first time I ever did that. Mark's trying to run the show. I'm doing my affirmations. I'm doing my setting my intentions. I'm using the law of attraction. I'm doing all this science of mind stuff, but that wasn't keeping me sober. It was a combination of the science and the divine presence, the divine influx. Powerful, powerful recipe for helping me to live a sober life that works. For me, I need to live that way. I'm not trying to preach, but in general, I needed to do that for myself. And that recipe, so here I am, it's a Sunday afternoon, and I can hear the music, I can smell the beer bust, because they were cooking burgers and hot dogs over there, and back then, and I could hear, and I wanted to go. So I called my sponsor. I said, I want to go. I asked someone else, because you don't have to ask the divine, you could ask others for help too, right? We're all part of this divine. And so I asked, and he said, well, I tell you what, he says, let's make a plan. We'll go have dinner and go to a meeting later at like 4 or 5 o'clock. I said, okay, cool. Well, I need to get my truck ready anyway, because I had a job going the next morning. So I'm getting my truck ready, and I'm trying to throw this stuff in the garbage. And I'm putting all this, my truck was full of garbage, and the garbage cans were full, because Monday morning was when the garbage truck came, and the dumpsters were full. So I'm trying to get all this garbage into this dumpster. It's already full. I'm jamming stuff in there, like this. And all of a sudden I see, as I'm jamming stuff in there, there's this piece of artwork laying on top of the dumpster. I'm like, what is that? So I grab it off, and I look at it, and it was all scratched up. It was hard to read. It was a quote, like written on a plaque. And I'm reading it, and I'm like, what is it? And it said, and the day came when the risk it took to stay tight inside the bud became more painful than the risk it took to blossom. And the risk it took to stay tight inside the bud, the flower bud, became more painful than the risk it took to blossom. Right when I asked. Now I'm a little slow. Don't tell anybody. I needed a message on the top of a pile of garbage that was my life to say, Mark, that's not this. And from that day forward, I never drank it. That was over 19. I just celebrated 19 years a couple weeks ago. Thank you. So it works if we use this formula. There's a formula. You know the formula? I ask, I listen, and then I take action. So I ask something greater than Mark. I didn't create all this, did you? Something greater than Mark, however you relate to that. I open up to the message and I listen. And the messages come in so many amazing things. It's not always, as clear as what happened that day, but, the messages are always coming, So I want to close with this famous quote, because I think when we're being that third element about guidance, about stepping out, like Eunice reminded me about today's talk is supposed to be about taking that leap. How's life asking you to step out in a greater way? Not in a big, magnificent way, but what is it asking you to follow? What is it asking you to step into? How is it asking you, when you do realign, you open up and ask, what's it asking you to do? And it could be doing nothing. I was talking to my prayer partner this morning. Maybe it's just doing nothing. Sometimes it's not about always trying. We're not trying to force anything. So sometimes it's that. This quote comes from Marianne Williamson. I love it because she's somebody who lives this. She's somebody who lives powerfully in this truth. And I think that when we follow our divine influx, then we have to trust that beyond our fear is the light. So this quote is, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Yeah. It is our light, not our darkness, which frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to say that I'm brilliant, talented, gorgeous, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. You were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within you. It's not just within you. It's within every one of us. As we let our light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fears, we automatically liberate others. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So let's go within real quick to that divine center. Let thine eye be single. Bring your attention to your third eye, right here. The pituitary gland, this is the intuition, right here, right? So just see if you can bring your attention in there, maybe gaze up to the third eye. Take a few conscious breaths right now as we tap into what is always here. We tap into this new dimension that is not even new, it's being revealed. This new level that we're recognizing more and more. And so as we quiet and still our mind, we align with this divine influx, with the presence within, the light within, the love within. As we let our eye be single, we focus on that, which is what we want to create within our own self or within our own life. And we allow that then to be a ripple effect into the world. Is so, as we open up to this divine influx and we listen, we will be guided through synchronicities and serendipities. Life will show us the way, what to release and let go of, and what to embrace. And as we get into this place of alignment, we live from this place. We are tapped in. We ask. We open, we listen, and we take action. But this is a divine process. And so in this place of alignment, we give thanks with a deep, all-abiding sense of surrender, with a sense of joy, a sense of excitement, a sense of expectancy. We release it and surrender it, we let it go, and we say together, and so it is, so it is. Amen.
And so it is, and so it is, so mote it be, and so it is. Ashe, ashe, aho, amen. The word is spoken, and so it is, and so it is. And so it is, so mote it be, and so it is. Ashe, ashe, aho, amen. The word is spoken, and so it is, and so it is, and so it is. So mote it be, and so it is. Ashe, ashe, aho, amen. The word is spoken, and so it is. The word is spoken, and so it is. The word is spoken, and so it is.
Going to be a minister for a moment. So this is a time in our service where we collect our offerings. And as Eunice says, it's not so important how much you give, but it's the place that you give from. And we give in a lot of different ways here. We give of our time, our talent, our treasure. We do that through money in the plate on Sunday. Some of us do our monthly pledge. Some of us do our online stuff. So just bring to mind the amount that you give, whether it be physical or whether it be digital, and just hold that next to your heart. And so I've forgotten the little thing that Eunice always says. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, all that I circulate. In other words, everything.
Yes.
And so it is. And so our ushers are going to pass through as we sing gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude all around me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. And so at this time, we'd like to call up all of our ministers and practitioners. And Thea, you can join us now. We released you from the high watch. We felt your energy and your consciousness, so thank you. These are the people who have gone through, as John Renfeather used to say, these are the people who are licensed to pray. These are our practitioners. They've gone through the training, they know the truth, and they can help you remember it for yourself in any situation. So they're going to be available in the chapel immediately after this service, so take advantage of that if you'd like. There's also refreshments in the cafe. Visit the bookstore. There's some books in there, including Two by Me, if you want to check them out. Tickets on sale for the Defying Gravity. On your way out, the ticket sales will be happening. And Wounds to Wings afterwards. So Laurel is going to share her story with us. So I know you're going to want to stick around for that. So let's end this service with our closing affirmation. If we'd all stand together and recite this together. I am at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I live in a, just like, I can never be separate from my source. I am living love. Hallelujah. Amen. And so let's join hands as we close this service with the peace song. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our power, united all
the sodden Linton sky. I sit zazen with open eyes. Can't rise above the din, won't land inside my skin. Still something core within arrives. The vines are winding, serpentine. The insects crowd the window screen. Rain falls like mirrored pearls, the rainbow puddles swirl, a world unfurls from black to green. Spring comes on leaves of fall and graves of winter white, the hungry newborn light that feeds upon the ashes of the night. Weft and weaving of the dance where all is paid for in advance. Below the swollen river flows, to sea then cloud then back it goes. A deep desire I can't explain comes softly tapping like the rain. A fragile memory, a form I can't quite see, a whispering at the window pane. What dies, who rises from this dream? What suffers, how, who is redeemed? Who's lost among the trees, Who's hiding in the leaves? What child so silent and serene? A pilgrim soul like fallow earth awaits the sea. This lack is holy, holy is the gift, holy the need. A river flowing hope, trust and surrender, reconcile what's broken within me. Love, peace, and presence, Lord.